Welcome once again to the bulletin. And Ghana's energy sector faces a potential crisis due to a scheduled maintenance on the West African gas pipeline company's infrastructure on January 20, spanning up to February 16, 2025. The Member of Parliament for GHOne, Jinapor, has sounded the alarm over an imminent power crisis, popularly known as Dumsor, owing to a critical fuel shortage in Ghana. Jinapor disclosed that the country's fuel reserves are low, with only 5 hours of fuel stock remaining. He cautioned that even with immediate action by the new government, the fuel supply chain's timeline means it will take at least 8 weeks to receive and process new shipments. This delay, he warned, could result in prolonged power outages. In a Facebook post, the executive director for the Institute of Energy Security, speaking of the IES, Nana Mwisi the 7th, revealed that the planned maintenance on the West Africa gas pipeline company's infrastructure was initially scheduled for October last year, and this has been confirmed by GHOne in a statement. However, it was postponed to January 20 this year due to delays reportedly caused by the previous government's inaction. A tough start for the new administration. As we understand it, a meeting has been held, but let's speak to the matters and even understand clearly what is happening when it comes to energy space. Dr. Shafiq Suleiman is a senior lecturer at the Institute for Oil and Gas at the University of Cape Coast. He joins me via Zoom for a conversation on this matter. Many thanks for your time this morning, Doc. Now, we look at Ghana's generation mix. Have we fully, efficiently set up a structure where we shouldn't be facing this problem?
Okay, thank you. Good morning and Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to all our cherished viewers and people who watch us here. Honestly, what is happening now is a little bit technical for us all. Looking at the power transition that we had just the few weeks ago, culminating to the handing over of power yesterday to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We were expecting a smooth transition of power as well as in electricity to the next government. But unfortunately, that part of smooth transition of power generation to the next government had a problem. The problem was that during the transition committee meetings on energy and natural resources, it was agreed that we saw the challenges coming up, and it was agreed by both NDC and MPP and transition committee members that they will especially from the finance minister, that he will be making significant financial commitment for the incoming government to be able to procure sufficient fuel to actually sustain power generation, whilst WAPCO plan to actually undertake a pigging exercise or a gas pipeline maintenance from January 20th. But unfortunately, when the power was successfully handed over yesterday, we were expecting that the finance minister's commitment to make available the finances and actually even procure the fuel, would have been successful. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. So from yesterday, we got to realize that, or the NDC team got to realize that we needed to take urgent action to actually mitigate the problem. But how do we then solve the problem? First of all, you have to talk about it. So yesterday, what we saw from the Honorable Member of Parliament for Yape Kushago, John Jinapor, was actually to talk about the problem, which he kept out a media outcry, saying that there's likely to be an imminent power crisis if care is not taken. And after talking about the problem, as a responsible Member of Parliament and a responsible team player, he quickly organized or mobilized a meeting with the Chief of Staff. And the Chief of Staff actually summoned all the sector players this morning to actually listen to us so that we provide solution to the problem. And in terms of governance structure, this is also collaboration. He called everybody, including the existing CEOs that have been appointed by the previous administration, and even including the chief directors from the ministries, to provide a coherent solution. And we discussed the solution coherently. And it has been categorically stated that there is sufficient solution among the team that has been summoned today. And fortunately for us, there will be further engagement today's evening around 4 p.m. to actually get to the core of the solution. And I think this is what the Ghanaians voted for: collaboration, teamwork, and transparency and accountability in the process of governance. Unfortunately, the previous government refused to actually make provisions to provide a solution when they were leaving office, and in a very sinister way, actually created a path a pathway for the incoming government to struggle small or to suffer. Let me put it that way. But unfortunately, this is not going to happen. There's going to be a solution. The solution has already been profiled, and I believe and trust that the people or the CEOs and the sector members and the party or the government assembled this morning will be responsible enough and patriotic enough and go by the solutions that we profile, so that the eminent power supply challenges that we are expecting after 7th and 20th January will never come off at the first place. So I'm putting it on record that there has been a solution provided this morning, and by the close of today, the fuels that are expected to come for the power problems to be solved will actually be procured, and there are assurances that within a very short time, less than 1 week, the fuels will be made available to VRA and the thermal plants, and they will have sufficient fuel within the shortest possible time to generate power. And this is on record time. And I mean, this is the first test for the power sector or the energy sector. And it has proven that we have competent, responsible people who are having the country at heart and who will not intentionally want to make life difficult for Ghanaians or make things difficult. And let me just put it on record. The previous government, as I said, through the Joint Transition Committee meeting, we're expecting them to hold up to their own words. I mean, they indicated clearly that they were going to provide enough fuel for the pigging exercise from WAPCO. That didn't happen. So we are hoping that the current government, with the joint agreement from today's meeting from the CEOs and head of departments of the various agencies that met today, and with the aid of the able Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, and the team, the energy team, NDC energy team, John Jinapor, Honorable John Jinapor, Honorable Amako Fibua, Honorable Edward Bauer, Jabez Ebisata, and Felix Kwachi, all the team members at forcing that came together today will provide a sufficient and credible solution. They've already provided it to solve the imminent problem. Okay.
Dr. Shafiq, thank you so much for speaking with us here on Newsroom. He is a senior lecturer at the Institute for Oil and Gas at the University of Cape Coast. The government has set up a 12-member committee, as you rightly said, to avert looming power crisis in the country.